Hey there, I'm Steve, and welcome to Jamson Entertainment. And welcome to the conversation. Just before we get started, there are many ways you can help. You can like and subscribe so you never miss a conversation. But most importantly, please share this video. Get the word out there as a community we can talk about all the things that we love. Today on Throwback Thursday, we're looking at the 2000 version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Starring Jim Carrey, Taylor Momsen, Kelly, Jeffrey Tambor, Christine Baranski, Bill Irwin, Molly Shannon, Clint Howard, Josh Ryan Evans, Mindy Sterling, and Rachel Winfrey. So besides the fact that this is live action, there are a ton of differences between this one and the original 1966 version. I guess the other obvious one would be runtime. This is an hour and 44 minutes. The original is only 28 minutes long. And I forgot to mention, one of the cast members is the narrator, Anthony Daniels. That's another big difference. In the original, Boris Karloff narrated and was the Grinch. Here, Anthony Daniels narrates and Jim Carrey is the Grinch. And Jim Carrey steals the show every single time he's on screen. In fact, if it weren't for Jim Carrey, I don't think this movie would have worked. I'm not sure if it's the makeup or Jim Carrey or a combination of the two that make him look absolutely perfect. I would imagine that the makeup crew went into this knowing they'd have to have the actor be able to emote as much as possible, especially for that grin that the Grinch has. That big old grin. One that only Jim Carrey could pull off. Even though the stories are very similar, I'll still go over the basic plot. And I'll go in order of the Grinch's tale, not just the order that the story's told. Kind of. So Cindy Lou Who is not just two. I didn't mean to rhyme, but I guess it worked anyway. Because this is supposed to be a rhyming story. Anyway, she's 8 years old or so. At such a young age, she's curious as to why Christmas is celebrated. Now, the original and this one don't go into religious reasons. It just goes into the pure, wholesome, be nice to everyone reasons, which is a good reason to hold Christmas. Her curiosity leads her to wondering why the Grinch is never around and why he's so taboo. And so she goes and interviews the people in his life. Those would be his biddies, his, I guess, two moms? Or two grandmoms, or maybe they're sisters. It's ambiguous, the relationship of these two women. All that's told to us is that the Grinch baby comes in floating in a crib, like all other Who babies. But the Grinch, they say in this one, is a what? They don't know what he is. Even as a baby, he's a jerk. And he knocks another baby off course, and he lands in front of these two ladies' house. They take a minute and they raise him, and even as a kid, he's a jerk who doesn't like Christmas, despite their raising him. Outside of him being a jerk, he's also picked on by the other children, with the exception of one, Martha May Huvier, who has a crush on him, and he has a crush on her. And the students are supposed to give gifts to each other, and he makes up a gift for her. And one of the reasons why he got picked on is because he's, well, it's stated in the movie, he's 8 years old and he has a beard. He also shaves before he gives his gift to Martha May. And because it's his first time shaving, it's not done very well. And he gets picked on again. And this time, it's the last straw for him. He goes and the way he gets to and from Whoville in this one is very creative. And I gotta remember to talk about the set. But let me get back to how he gets to and from Whoville. They have a garbage system that literally the button says dump it to crumpet. And so he climbs in there, hits the button, and he gets sent up the mountain where he exiles himself. Another big thing added in here besides his backstory is there is an award given out to the Who that loves Christmas the most, or a Who that needs Christmas the most, as Cindy Lou advocates for the Grinch. And the mayor, who was one of the bullies when the Grinch was a kid, is against this, but rules are rules. And you can imagine the mayhem that the Grinch causes when he goes to this celebration. But the lead up to the celebration, I wish I knew how much Jim Carrey actually improvised the lead up to this celebration, because it's hilarious. I do know the one part where he's trying to find something to wear. There is a tablecloth that he's supposed to rip out from underneath a ton of stuff. And it's supposed to fall all over the place. But instead, he does the trick where everything stays in place. And so, after he rips it off and walks off camera, he comes back and knocks all over the place. Which is perfect. Like I said, Jim Carrey as the Grinch steals every single scene. He's the best part of the movie. Even after the celebration, the Grinch still can't stand Christmas, and so he devises a plan to steal Christmas. And this time, it's Jim Carrey singing it. And he's a really good singer. I'm surprised he didn't have like a comedic album or two come out. He is really good. He goes through a few different genres singing You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and it's fantastic. I want to find a version of it and add it to my Christmas playlist. I just remembered, let me get to the set. They really captured Dr. Seuss's Whoville in this movie. They did a fantastic job of building this world. It is exactly how you would imagine it would be in real life. And the people of Whoville are exactly how you would imagine them in real life. They're kind of creepy looking. But among the biggest differences in this movie is the message. It's similar but different to the original. Both of them point out that Christmas is a little bit more. But this one harps on the fact that consumerism has taken over Christmas, which it most certainly has. I'm of the opinion Christmas cannot start being celebrated until Black Friday. I can't stand the fact that it's out a second week into October. What's worse is the moral of the story being that Christmas has become too commoditized? It's become too commercialized. There we go, that's the word. It's a recurring theme you see in a ton of Christmas movies. And you would think that would help tone down the Christmas celebration. But it doesn't. I mean, there's a Christmas tree store, for crying out loud, not too far from me. Christmas tree store? Or is it just a Christmas store? I can't remember. But there's a store that sells Christmas every day of the year, about 40 minutes from me. That's ridiculous. And in the original, it's the simple fact that the Grinch hates Christmas. And in that one, they don't quite know why. In this version, they give him a backstory and they give him a reason to really hate Christmas, even though they show him hating Christmas before he really hates Christmas. Despite that difference, it does not subtract from the wholesomeness of this movie. With that said, I would not watch this with your children that are under the age of, let's say, 12. Because there are some adult-ish moments or crude moments in here. Adult-ish being something like this, and a crude moment being this. I find them hilarious, but they're not really for children. So 12 and older with this movie. I had a blast with this movie. It's one I would like to watch every year along with the original. I'll say it again, Jim Carrey steals the scene every time he's in it. He's just absolutely hysterical in this role. And I highly recommend, if it's out there on 4K, you gotta get this on 4K. Those are my thoughts on the 2000 version of How a Grinch Stole Christmas. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and live your imagination.